I guess it's my turn to share my journey to health. Growing up, I was always, shall we say, festively plump. I was never thin, but I wasn't like obese, overweight, any of that stuff. But I was definitely struggled with weight and being a comfortable size. I did yo-yo diets all through high school and a little bit in junior high. And it was always a personal struggle of mine, and I just always looked at myself as not attractive or any of this nonsense just because I didn't fit a stereotypical physical mold. I was always athletic, however. Growing up, I played soccer, and I ran, and I played with the neighborhood kids, and all that stuff. I was a dancer in high school, and so what sort of loosely happened was my freshman year in high school, before I started dancing, I was about a size 14 and 160 pounds, and I started taking dance classes, and then I started going to a dance studio, and I really wanted to make it my career. So I dedicated a lot of time and effort into it, and I didn't really change my eating habits, but there you go. But by the time I was a senior, I was a size 6 and still 160 pounds. So that was when I really learned to give up the scale, and I stopped caring what the number was because I knew it didn't correlate to my physical size, because I witnessed it in 4 years of high school. I saw my body transform, but my weight didn't change. So I just sort of said, screw it, my body wants to be 160 pounds, there we go. I did incur a pretty gnarly back injury in high school when I was in one of my ballet classes at the studio, and just warm-up routines on the bar, and it's just wrong place, wrong time, and my back made a very loud, audible, and painful pop, and I could hardly move or walk, but I stuck it through class, and I continued to dance on it for a week, thinking that I could walk it off. It was just, I just tweaked a muscle. And when I finally went and saw a chiropractor a little over a week later, when I legitimately couldn't walk and had to crawl up a wall in one of my classes to just stand upright, I called my parents. I was like, I want an x-ray and I want to see a chiropractor. And when I saw the chiropractor, it was excruciatingly painful. Now, mind you, this was about 14 years ago. And I have since learned to love chiropractors. They're absolutely amazing. But it was excruciatingly painful. My dad didn't understand why, because he was the one who brought me there. And so apparently, between that night and the next day, when I went to go see the chiropractor again, my parents had discussed why it would have hurt me so bad. And then they realized that I actually injured my back when I was 6, which had been just wrong in my spine for 11 years until I made it worse in dance class. So I now have an 11-year-old injury that we're trying to correct. As far as I knew, my dancing career was gone because it's a spinal injury. You don't come back from that. And it was pretty rough. So, and this was right my senior year. Couldn't audition for dance schools, so I just went into college with my backup degree choice, which was teaching. And I think I just colloquially, I gained that freshman 15 rather quickly. And the longer I stayed in college, the more depressed and just sort of out of sorts I got, and the less me I was. And so I gained the weight. I didn't care about who I was or what I was eating or what I was doing with my body physically. It didn't matter. Even though I eventually switched to a degree that I grew to love, I didn't love me enough, and I think that was sort of the root of it all. So when I graduated college and I was faced, like so many millennials nowadays, with going back home, I freaked out, but I wanted to change my life, and I knew I needed to shock my system. So I, for my 23rd birthday, hopped on a plane, went to Greece, and I think there's where I really truly found me again. And that's where I got my mind right before I got my health right. From there, I came home, I went to massage school. At massage school, one of our teachers, Damien, who's amazing, I broke down in tears one day for one of the things that we were learning, and because it just reached me on an emotional level. And he came up and he's like, welcome to the therapy part of massage therapy school. And it's true. So many of us go into this because we think we want to heal others, but we end up healing ourselves. And I realized with all my education, with learning about other people's bodies, how much I had been doing wrong to myself. And it really opened my eyes. So I started rock climbing with my roommate. He was the one who introduced me to that. We would go on hikes and bike rides, and I started cooking at home more, so I was using just real produce and food. And now I know I wasn't always reading the right things, but it was a step in the right direction. And from massage school to about 2-ish years later, maybe a year and a half later, meeting my husband, I had gone from probably a size 14 to a size 8. And it was just from learning that I was valuable enough to take care of myself and not always eat junky or bad, and really be more aware of what I was doing. And also at that point I had learned how to take care of my body in a way that my back wasn't going to be a problem. I avoided surgery because of it. And yeah, so when my husband, who, if you guys watch this video, will have addressed this, talked about, he met this one gal who introduced me to Arbonne, or introduced us to Arbonne, and she really talked a lot about the nutrition program. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, because there's a lot of programs going around, and we've been told a lot, and not a lot of things work, and I did the yo-yo diets, and I just couldn't believe that it could coach a real system and really transform people's health. So we did it on sort of a lark, just to sort of help her in her business. And it was to the point where neither of us believed there were going to be changes in our bodies or how we felt, so we didn't take before photos, we didn't do measurements, we didn't take our weight. We were just like, let's just, whatever, we'll do it for 2 weeks instead of the full month, and we'll just let it be done. After about a week into it, and I didn't have withdrawals from coffee, and he was feeling better, and we were both sleeping better, we both had more energy, we realized there might be some legitimate foundations to what Arbonne was coaching and teaching. And so we bought another kit so we could both finish the whole 28 days of the program. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, it just completely changed how I eat and look at food entirely. It was just, I felt so great. I didn't really add much stuff back into my diet, and he had a harder go the first time around, and it took him a couple months to come back and just dedicate those 3 months to just be feeling better and losing the weight. But for me, it wasn't about weight loss. I was already size 4 at the time, because I had just been so happy in my relationship with my husband that just weight was falling off of me. So there is something to be said about your mind state as well for your overall health. But just the things of my body just worked correctly, and I think that was what was really incredible to me. And I, as much as I knew, as good as my education was, you just don't really know how much what you feed yourself can alter the way you just feel in general, and like how much of a response your body will have to not just being fed one good meal, but being fed a whole month of good meals, and then so on and so forth for the rest of your life, and just how the changes that will happen over time. And I can honestly say Arbonne has made just a huge drastic difference in the way we view things, and it's real. It coaches a lifestyle, and I never would have believed it was possible if I didn't do it, and I know I can say that just for sure. And it's been a long road, but I'm glad to say that at 31 years old I have found this, and I have this, so it's worth it for sure.